Hi, everybody. It's Will NY4. And I'm here today to announce a new mod that I believe will solve most of the most serious problems that players have had trying to get the Outpost and production management aspects of Starfield to actually work. So here I am on Charybdis 5, about to begin a project. And if I jump up, I'll show you. I have a few containers here and a few fabricators. My goal is, with this outpost, is to make all 11 of the Tier 1 products. And I'm here in Charybdis, and Charybdis has almost all of them except for 2 or 3, which I'm bringing in from Hyla. But, I am faced now with this problem, which I know that you are all familiar with. Here's my transfer container in which everything's getting dumped in. And if you look at it, you can see, there's a ton of stuff, some that I need and some that I don't. And now here's another problem. I am definitely going to need copper, and I have mining antimony and gold because that's here on this planet, but I have 40,000 coppers. So this is a serious issue. How do you handle this? Well, surprise, I've created a mod after months, and I mean literally months, of learning scripting and for the frustration of compiling, etc., etc. I have a mod which I'm calling Smart Containers. And my smart containers will fix both of these problems in a very, I think, creative and elegant way. Let me show you how. So these are the 4 smart containers. This is all that will be in your menu. You don't have to go and pick a container for each resource and scroll down a list and so on. They are right here. And I've made them programmable so that this whole process of selecting the one you made is much easier. So the next question is, how do I take one of these containers and program it to the resource that I want to mine or harvest? Well, I'm going to go over and look at the stainless one over here. This one happens to be a container that I built specifically to handle organics. There are 80 resources in the game, basic resources, and 31 of them are organics, so that's quite a few. So in order to program this to only select the organic you want, I have this smart briefcase set up as a resource selector. If I open that up and scroll down, you'll see here's all 31. And I can pick one. I'll pick cosmetic. Smart container target updated. And there's cosmetic. But it's not just cosmetic, it's 50 cosmetics. Because my idea was I want to get you started. So this is like your seed capital in items. But I have to tell you, it ain't free. We open this up, you'll see the toast up on the right side that you owe me 500 credits. It's a negative 500. But you'll make it back, I'm sure, if you do go big time into the cosmetics business. Max factor at work, I never even thought about that. Okay, so that is exactly how you would program it. That's one of the smart things. But the really smart thing is that, let's go over to this gases and look at this for a second. Set capacity button. So I'm giving you 4 different capacities, and this is based on items, not weights. You don't have to worry about, or mass. Don't worry about that. You could set the capacity here at 100. That means when 101 items come in, it's going to start to generate credits. If you set it all the way up to 5,000, not going to generate many credits, but you'll have 5,000 of a particular item if you want to take it and use it elsewhere. Cancel out of that. So these are more than just sorting devices. They also deal with that oversupply problem. Now the key to this, and we'll show you exactly how that works, but the key is this other container which I have built here, which I call the Distribution Center. This is the gatekeeper, this is the router. So all of your raw materials need to go through here first. Now, the exception is if you just had a greenhouse system making cosmetic, you could link the cosmetics directly to here. You don't need my distribution center. But if you have something like you up here in the transfer container, you're definitely going to need to have to go into the distribution center. Now that center has a few other features. One is a terminal which will teach you how to use the center. It's a welcome page, the distribution center, the smart container system, how to program it, the reports you get out of it, and finally how the credits systems work inside. I'm not going to leave that up. You can read it at your leisure. There's also a button here that will provide reports for this outpost, all the outpost session, and all the outpost lifetime. And you can reset it if you need to do that. Well, we haven't done anything yet, so nothing much to reset. So how would we actually apply this in a real world situation? Okay, well up here, I'm going to make adaptive frames with that fabricator, and I need aluminum and iron. So far there's nothing in my distribution center, so it's just going to be based on what I get from my setup. Aluminum, great, and we have our 50 aluminums. And now our 50 irons. So with this, I'm in business. Adaptive frames only take one of each. So I can make 50 adaptive frames just with what I've done so far. But of course, it's running a negative balance. So what I want to do is I want to add more resources so that this can go on without me continually running a deficit. So let me link the transfer container over here to my distribution container. Now, I cannot, unfortunately, control what it sends. You've, I'm sure, experienced this yourself with cargo links and so on. Unfortunately, beryllium, cobalt, and nickel is all that's coming through so far. But if we're patient, we will ultimately see some additional aluminum and some additional iron. Now I'm going to short circuit things a little bit by going into my own inventory. If I can get a small enough amount, because aluminum and iron I have in huge quantities. Let's see. Really get down to a low amount. 5,000, well that's pretty good. And now we go over to my iron. 2,200, not bad, okay. So that is put in the system, and it cycles through, and the way I programmed this, it will take 200 at a time out of this inventory and send it over to our smart containers, which are up here. Already you can see we're starting to generate credits. here also. I don't know if we paid back how much we owed yet. Well, we still owe 858. Okay. Oh, we're positive 858. Sorry. And it is building up. I said 200 a time to come over. The reserve is set at 200. So if I wasn't clear about that before, each container has a reserve of 50. Anytime your resources fall below 50, it will buy replacements. The capacity is 200 as programmed. Anytime the credits go, or the resources go above 200, it will sell them for credits. Now, it's not an even deal because this is real life, guys, right? When you have to buy them, you're paying 125%. You're paying a premium over its retail value. And when you sell them back, you only get 85%. But someone's got to make a living out of this, right? Now, just let me tell you the two special circumstances in which this is really extremely valuable. Let's go up here and use one of the examples I was showing before. Well, let me go over into the copper. We got 40,000 coppers here. Well, we're going to need copper, so I'm actually going to use this one. Antimony. I don't have any actual use for antimony now. But I'm going to go and build a container. First, I have to shoot the ground, naturally. Rune will smart containers. I want a solid smart container here. All right. We'll go up and we'll program this rather for antimony. And that has negative balance of 1875 for 50 antimony. We have 21,000 antimonies here. I'm going to create an output link, in this case, to my smart container, but not to the suitcase, to the smart container itself. And you see immediately it sells them for over $1 million in credits. So this is the way to get rid of your excesses. And if we open it up, you can see that we didn't supply anything out of this, but we earned 143,000, 145, but then we had to pay back what we owed, so we end up with 143,000. So that's one way to clear out your excess inventory. A second and very practical use is if I run over here, you notice I have an interstellar connection. And if you had seen the incoming, you would see I'm not getting anything from Hyla 2, which is providing silver, ionic liquids, and tetrafluorides. The reason I'm not getting anything is there's no helium there, there's no helium here. But smart containers to the rescue. Rune wheel smart containers, gases. Helium-3. We'll buy 50 of them. And that would set us back how much? 312 credits. Okay, well, it's worth it because from here, We now have helium. We're now in business, and I'm going to be able to get those resources that I need. So those are basically the features of how smart containers work and how to solve your problems. But I want to show you what this outpost is like after building everything out, and you'll see how it really works. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, here's the bird's eye view from the build menu. As you can see, there's my extractors going into their own containers. Cargo links are delivering their resources directly to the distribution center. And this is the row of smart containers all the way across, and some others in a second row here. One thing you should know right away is that there is no physical link between the distribution center and the smart containers. It's all done virtually. However, you do have to link the resources with the fabricators, and you see the maze of green lines. Again, the goal here was to build all of the level 1 or tier 1 fabricators, and then one semi-metal, which gets that antimony and gold from this planet. And I also made 5 zero-wire fabricators just to kind of stress the system and see how it would keep delivering copper and silver necessary for zero wire. So that basically is the setup. So let's go down and see what it looks like on the ground. Okay, well, let's start with aluminum. Now, this is an earlier build, and I had set the capacity at 500, not knowing what the actual experience would be. And you could see that these are all generating credits at that 500 level, which indicates that there's very little need to have that many units in here. So with the new version, which I showed earlier, I have changed the capacity, default capacity, to 200. You can always move it back using the push button. But you see, silver and copper not doing bad. Here, these are only used for one product, so you're not going to get a lot of extras. So one exception I made, based on the recommendation of one of my testers, who wanted the ability to sort through a whole bunch of materials and get 5,000 of them that he could take back and link to his spaceship to the transfer container. So over here for lead, I set the capacity at 5,000 here. And you can see that it's got 5,000 along with a whole bunch of credits that it's gotten lead above 5,000. So in order for it to get to the transfer container, I just and there it is. There's the 5,000. Now, just a couple caveats, which wouldn't be a concern for you at this point, since you can't get the mod. This Galbank container and your actual suitcases are containers, and I'm working on finding the right keyword so that they can't be linked to. But there is a danger that you could end up connecting things to the container, thinking it was the container, and it's actually the Galbank container. But as we noticed, I went down the line. All of these smart containers have credits in them. It's a pain to have to collect them. So I made the Galbank credit vault here. We open this up. Okay, it's taken from 10 of the smart containers that have credits. And there you have 374,842 credits ready to be taken. So that's an example of a little extra which I threw in. Okay, well, before we leave, I want to tell you a little bit about how this mod came to be. Now, it's kind of simple in terms of what it accomplishes, but it turns out that behind the curtain, there's a lot going on. I've had to create 11 different scripts to control the different features that you've seen here. One that is really important was contributed by RuneLore63, who developed the concept of the buying and selling inside the crates. Now, I've added a lot of different bells and whistles and features to that, but I want to acknowledge RuneLore's contribution. I asked him if it was okay, whether I included that buy-sell as a feature here, and he agreed to it. So again, thank you, RuneLore. Okay, well, let me talk for a minute about what I think I want to do next with this. From the comments that I'm getting, I think that this can exist as a standalone mod, just handling the resource and inventory control management part of the Outpost. So I'm going to go and offer that. On the other hand, the connection with the fabricators have many similarities. That is, managing the production of these as they feed each other is also a great challenge. So I'm now working on that, and I've actually made pretty good progress. And at some point, I will probably combine them together. I don't know exactly what the timing will be. So, guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We've busted over 1,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate that. And stay tuned. If you have any ideas or questions or things that you think would make this better, please leave them in the video comments, and I'll be in touch with you as soon as I can. Okay, now, bye-bye.